girls.
Hi everyone, it's Sonia here. Today I have some very important information for you that I think you're going to find very interesting. I wanted to talk to you a bit about the COVID situation with India. And I'm sure that you, like many other people, are pretty sick and tired of the whole thing. And maybe you even started feeling like, oh, screw it. Let's just reopen. I mean, look at Texas. They're fine. Let's just do it. I don't care anymore. But no, you need to stay scared for a little longer. Can you imagine the challenge our government faces of keeping us scared enough to go along with the program for this long? I mean, they keep stringing us along, right? It's like 2 weeks, then a month. We got to do this. We got to do that. Just obey the restrictions. Don't see your friends. Do this, do that. It's only going to be a little while. Now imagine, it's been over a year, people are pretty tired of it. But you got to stay vigilant. You got to be scared because some stuff is happening. Actually, I think you're going to find the information quite mind-blowing. Anyway, before I start, I just want to say thank you for liking the video and for leaving me a comment. And thank you for your support on Patreon. That helps keep my channel going. And I do also still have the pouches, which eliminate odors by removing viruses, bacteria, fungus, and mold. These things really do eliminate odors. I'll give you an example. If you've smoked or you're a smoker and you get that tobacco smell in your clothes, it's really hard to get rid of. What are you going to do? Wash your clothes every single day? How do you get rid of that smell? Put one of these in your house. Put one in your room, or put some of your clothes in a bag with one of these. It'll get rid of the smell, and it'll do that for any kind of smell, but tobacco included. So if you're interested, check out the link below, and it's 15% off, no shipping and handling, even if you live in Canada. Okay, so let's talk about this business with India, the new thing that we should be afraid of. I, like everyone else, have been perusing the news, looking for answers, trying to understand what's going on. And I actually stumbled across something which I think kind of does tell us a bit about what's going on. So, will India's COVID-19 crisis spell disaster for the world? I mean, this is the story that, even though it's been over a year and it looks like things are getting better, don't let your guard down, because look what's happening in India. If you look at the news footage, you're going to see that they're overwhelmed with cases. People are not able to find a hospital that will take them. They're literally dying outside the hospital. There are so many people requiring cremations that the funeral centers are overwhelmed. They've started cremating people in public parks, cutting down the trees from the parks to make funeral pyres for people. And the hospitals are ill-equipped. They don't have enough oxygen. I mean, it's a complete catastrophe. So does this mean this is going to happen to the rest of the world? Because if you look at the news, there's a lot of talk about the Indian variant, what they call the double mutation, sweeping South Asia. So does this mean that this is going to happen here? Canada has now banned flights from India and Pakistan for 30 days. I guess that's supposed to make people feel better, but the fact is, we already have this here in Canada. It was identified in BC. They had 39 cases. A COVID-19 variant linked to record-breaking case numbers in India has been identified in BC. It sounds pretty scary, but wait till you hear the rest of the story, though. We also have it in Quebec. And you know what's weird about that? It was in someone who was vaccinated in January. They're not even sure how they got it. So they must have got it from someone, and they don't know who that person is. So someone out there has it too. Probably more than a few people have it in Quebec. In the UK, they also have it. Rapid spread of India COVID variant in UK is worrying, say scientists. They're reminding people that there is no evidence of a threat to vaccines. And it's not only the UK. Israel, too, the poster child for lockdowns and COVID shots, has the Indian strain in their country as well, including among people who are also vaccinated. They actually reported a total of 41, including 4 people who've been vaccinated against COVID and 5 children. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. When you see all this stuff from India, and you hear all these things about this variant. I mean, you keep seeing this in the news. So you have these headlines paired with this footage. So the only logical conclusion for most people would be that this variant is causing this disaster. But in this article from Haaretz, They mentioned, however, because samples collected from throughout India have shown that the most dominant variant in the country is the British variant, the prevailing view is that the new strain of the virus is not behind the latest outbreak in India, which is rapidly spreading across the country. Wait a minute. So you mean to say that this is not because of this? Are you serious? Apparently not. It's not behind the latest outbreak in India. That is very surprising news, but apparently it's true. The Indian government says 80% of cases in Punjab are the UK variant. The UK variant, the one that we were supposed to be scared of last winter, which, I mean, yeah, we had some COVID, but it was not like this, you know? I think they want us to always be considering that we're heading for this kind of scenario at any moment if we don't do everything that we're supposed to do. And yet, you know, it hasn't happened over here yet. So why is it so bad in India? I mean, really, let that sink in. Like, all we've been hearing about is the Indian variant, the Indian variant. First of all, Indian variant, it's already in Canada. It's in the UK. It's in Europe. You're going to ban flights from India, but somebody could come in from another country with the Indian variant. So there's no way. It's like I said before with the dam. You put chewing gum here and it comes in the other side. So there's no way that this can be stopped. But moreover, the fact that actually what's happening in India is because of the good old UK variant that we've all gotten used to living with. So yeah, what is going on in India? Well, there was an interesting article here on Al Jazeera. A combination of the UK variant becoming dominant and a new double mutant variant emerging has overwhelmed India. Yeah, mostly it's not the double mutant though, right? But why do they have such a high death toll in some areas? There's a few reasons, and these are things that lead me to believe that whatever's happening over there is not going to happen here. They want us to be scared. They want us to think that we could be the next India if we're not vigilant. But I really don't think it's possible. So here are a few things that led up to it. You may remember the old graphs that it was going up and then it started to really go down, and India was congratulating themselves saying, hey, you know, you did a great job. It's over. It turns out a lot of that was political. There was an election coming up. The government wanted people to be happy. They wanted them to think they had done a good job. They wanted them to go to the polls. So they told them, everything's good. Go do your thing. Go to the polls. Make sure you come out, go to the rallies, listen to me talking, and then go and vote for me. So they encouraged a lot of really massive gatherings. I mean, India, 1.4 billion people. So when they get together and party, it's a big party. So they had political rallies. They had voting stations. They also had a big festival. At the same time, the protests were going on with the farmers, which now the Indian government is blaming the farmers for what's happening, but I don't think that's it. But basically a lot of like really huge mass gatherings. The government was covering up all the statistics, saying it's all good. And then at a certain point, it got to the point where they couldn't hide it anymore. But the other factor in all that was their healthcare system is totally not equipped. I mean, I remember hearing stories of people who went to India, got bitten by a dog, potentially a rabid dog, thought, okay, I'm going to go get a rabies vaccine, and discovered that they had to go all over the country looking for a rabies vaccine, and they finally ended up having to go to Singapore or something. Like, it's hard to even get medical care sometimes. India, you know, they say sometimes there's two Indias. So you have the wealthy, high-tech, you know, very modern India. You have rich people who have access to all kinds of care. And then you have, because they have a caste system, you know, that adds to it. They have some very poor people, and there's a lot of those people, and they don't have access to care. And then you have the rural areas, which, like, you can't compare that to a place like Montreal or Toronto or, you know, wherever. So a lot of people just don't have access to care. And what's weird too is India is the world's biggest exporter of vaccines, and they make a lot of oxygen tanks. They have lots of oxygen tanks, but apparently they don't have the machines to like put them on people. So there's not enough room in the hospitals. There's no medication or not enough medication, and there's not even enough oxygen. So the kind of care that we take for granted here that we're going to get, they don't even have access to that. Well, one last thing to remember is that India is an absolutely huge country, 1.4 billion people. So when they talk about having 17 or maybe 25 or 50 million cases of COVID, remember that that's out of 1.4 billion people. Like, you got to think of that scale, that out of such a large country, it's not as big of a number as it seems on face value. Anyway, this UK variant, we have it here in Quebec. We've had it this whole time. It's actually the dominant variant. This is the Quebec, site for statistics. And 82% variant positivity. See, that's what we're having here. We're having variants. Honestly, we've had about 2 deaths in Montreal per day for like the last month. Some days it's 0. In the last 3 weeks, 1 person under 60 has died. It was a healthcare worker who was actually working at the vaccination site. For some reason, he wasn't vaccinated. But anyway, it's not like people are dropping like flies over here. It's certainly not like India. And if you look at what kind of variants we have, this is the UK variant. And that's what we have here. We have the same strain here as they do in India. But the reason that, this isn't happening here is probably because we have a better healthcare system and we're not millions and millions of people crowded together super tight, and anyone who needs oxygen can get it. So I wanted to give you this update and let you know what's really going on. I mean, that's a surprise to me, but apparently it's a fact. And the WHO actually says it's a variant of concern, but at this point, there's not proof that it's more contagious or deadly than the other variants. So basically what we have is we have COVID. They have COVID in India, just like we have it here. And it's like they want us to be really, really scared that, oh no. Like when Bill Gates said the next one is going to get their attention, I think some of us are thinking, okay, this is the next one. Like, we didn't take the other one seriously, but this is a real one. And we're all going to die like in India. We're all going to end up in funeral pyres in the park. But I really don't think so. Anyway, that's the update. I hope you found that interesting. And I want to give you an update as soon as I can about what's going on in Quebec. Our government actually is moving forward with vaccine passports. Even though they've been quiet about it, they're quietly pushing this. And so are some very rich, influential people in the business sector, such as in the restaurant sector. So I'm keeping an eye on that. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for liking the video and leaving me a comment. And thanks again for your support on Patreon. And thank you for checking out the link for the pouches, which will make everything smell good. And thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you next time.